Greetings, everybody. I am Lobo, and welcome to Luna. This is episode 201 of my Minecraft survival series. We are freshly back from the world tour, where we saw most of what Luna has to offer. I realized when I was editing that video that there was quite a few things I left out, but there were a few things I noticed as well. And one of those things was just how little progress we've been making in some of these areas inside the city here. Now, don't get me wrong, we've made great progress elsewhere, but just looking around the city, looking at the Quarantine District, looking at the Waterside District, looking at these unnamed areas on the outskirts of Luna, it all just feels so empty. So I want to start changing things around here. I want to start getting some builds up inside the city. And I think I want to go ahead and start with the Waterside District over here, at least the lower area of the Waterside District. And I mentioned during the world tour that the first thing we would probably tackle is kind of finishing up the walls surrounding the Waterside District. So that is the goal for today's episode, to get some walls up. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as all that. It's not as easy as just build the walls in the time lapse and then we'll call the episode, move on, we'll do something else next week. I actually need to figure out the layout of the Waterside District and what I want to do with it. I said we're going to mainly focus on the lower part of the Waterside District. The lower part is actually going to expand a bit from the original plan. Basically, if we were to extend the lower Waterside District to also include all the areas beneath the upper areas of the Waterside District, that would more than double our available building space, which kind of appeals to me. So for the first part of this video, we're going to focus on just figuring out the new layout of the Waterside District and giving me a nice blank canvas to build future builds on, which means we're going to need to carve out these areas beneath the upper Waterside District, kind of flatten these hills, get a flooring over the water and all that stuff. And at this point, I feel as though I'm prepared to do just that. So let's go ahead and call Dee Dee on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. So at this point, I figured out the layout of the lower expansion of the Waterside District. I kind of missed a door. A door's actually right there. Let's go inside, and I'll show you what we're dealing with here. Basically, you can see this greatly increased the space that we're going to have for building stuff in the Waterside District. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what we're going to build in here quite yet. I'm still kind of formulating some plans as far as that goes. But one thing that does occur to me is that it's feeling very dark. It's feeling very, just subterranean, I guess. That's not what I want for the Waterside District. That's not the feel I want for the Waterside District. So I think I'm going to need to kind of open things up here a little bit so we can start by making a bigger doorway, a bigger entrance into these areas. Also, I think it would make sense to kind of open up some of these side areas, get some windows looking out into the New Moon Bay, let some light in here. And I've gone ahead and punched in some more windows for testing purposes. Obviously, there will be more, but, I just want to try to get a feel for this, and I feel like it opens this place up quite a bit, which is definitely beneficial for the interior. But something else we need to take into consideration is what it does to the exterior, right? That's also very, very important. So let's go ahead and fly on over here and just see what we think of it. And obviously, the walls aren't done yet, so you have to kind of imagine what this could look like fully built, but I think that's going to be good. I think I like that, actually. Now, it does look like we're going to run into a little problem area as we try to round this corner with our windows. Basically, we have this hill right here, which you can see better from this side. We have this hill right here that kind of is going to get in the way of our windows. So we're going to have to cut this down a little bit, which, isn't really a problem. It's not really a problem. It's just something I wanted to address with you guys as I did it. So I think I'm just going to cut it down to about right here and then fill in our walls. That way we can get those all figured out. And the landscaping obviously will have to be addressed in the future, but that's not what we're worried about today. That seems more like a problem for, for future Lobo. Additionally, I think as we're making our way over to these longer sections, we can kind of break things up a bit, like that area right there, and of course this area right here, because we do have some room to do some stuff. So I'm thinking instead of doing the windows that we have going throughout all the rest of these walls, maybe we can punch a little bit of a larger hole in here, and that could be like a doorway leading out to this little strip of land right here, and that would break things up a little bit. I think maybe look a little bit better, or potentially it could be like a balcony kind of jutting out of the wall here. I think that might actually work a little bit better. Oh yeah, that makes this area feel a lot more open. Obviously not as open as this side currently feels. This is something I'm going to worry about a little bit later, but this is how we're going to gain access to this back area right here. If you're wondering how we get out to this area or how we will get out to it in the future, we'll have like a little stair step up to a little doorway that leads out to this place. But, this is something that's not my concern right now. Right now, what I need to do is punch some holes in that wall over there. And basically, everything we did to our first set of walls applies to this set of walls as well. And apparently there's supposed to be a nether portal over here somewhere. Thanks for reminding me, Sign. There will in fact be a nether portal housed within these areas. And I think that should just about do it for this side. So let's go ahead and back up, get a feel for it. And I like it. Now, as far as the back areas go, like the back areas that I said I wasn't going to address today, like these areas right over here, the reason why I don't want to address them is because there might be some changes coming to this side in the future. I just need to take some time and figure out what those changes are actually going to be. But as I said, that's really not our concern today. That's more another problem for, future me. Something you may have noticed is that I didn't run windows along this side right here because this is kind of where I want to run my stairs. Basically because these slime blocks are here, they're not going to cut it forever, right? But before we can actually run our stairs up through here, there's something else you may have noticed, and that is the fact that our ground level in here is actually 1 block lower than the ground level out here. And that's because I want to kind of de-elevate this by about a block. And I may have intended to do that before. You notice the stairs kind of step down here. I'm not sure if that's what I intended originally, but that's the plan now. I want to lower everything here by about a block and just kind of make it all grass for now, just so it's a nice blank canvas. Again, I like blank canvases to work on. Now, this isn't just going to be a completely grassy area. We will have like roads and paths going through here, but again, that's something we're going to save for later. That means these sample paths, these road design tests over here can finally go. The durability test is over, and I'm just tired of having to explain those every world tour. I just feel the need to since they stick out so much, right? But we're going to be doing the same thing over here on this side, but on this side, we're going to actually need to extend the land a little bit and kind of shape things out, but we have plenty of room to do so. Basically, we just need to kind of bring this out a little bit more. That way it doesn't look so awkward and we don't have to jump the gap, if we ever want to get from the grassy part of the Waterside District into these interior areas, right? So this will probably kind of, follow roughly the contours of the dock that we have set up. But I think at this point, you guys know the plan. I know the plan. Let's go ahead and call Dee Dee back on over, put on a little bit of music, and get that done. And there we go. That is feeling much, much better. So at this point, all the lands of the lower Waterside District have been de-elevated by about a block, which does make the transition from the business district look a little bit awkward with all this stuff going on. But this is not something you need to worry about right now. We will address this eventually, like when we do our roads and pathways from the business district into the Waterside District. That's when all that stuff will get taken care of. Right now, I want to focus on those stairs I was talking about. And I made an attempt at the stairs, but that's probably all going to get cut out of the video because I just realized I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. I think before we start building stuff on the outside of our walls, we need to figure out what the walls actually look like. Because chances are that will push the stairs out a little bit. I mean, we technically do know what the walls will actually look like. They're going to look like all the other walls in the Waterside District, but I need to kind of draw in all my indentations and protrusions and stuff like that before we can actually start putting additions onto them. Right? Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying. So I suppose we'll start at the entrances because we know we're going to want to frame out our doorways and stuff. And then from there, I'm thinking maybe we come out diagonally from each of the corners because I think that might offer a bit more depth than if we were to just build out from the corners. But that brings up another problem. You see, I built this dock right here way too close to this. Even when we first built it, it was already way too close. It bumps out over there. So inadequate planning. I was very rushed when I built this, I think. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely not shrinking this down. So the dock has to be moved out by about 2 blocks. Either that or we just get rid of this section entirely. Regardless of what we decide to do, there is one thing we know for certain. The section of dock that we currently have in here, this has got to go. You know, sometimes I can't help but think that life would go so much smoother if I actually, took the time to actually plan stuff out every now and then. So I'm thinking we're just going to cut it back to about right here for now. We're going to cut it back to right here temporarily, and then we'll make our decision what we really want to do later. Like once we actually get our walls built in, then we'll determine if we want to, bring the dock out by about 2 blocks and start our diagonal a little bit further out into the New Moon Bay, or if we want to just get rid of this thing entirely. I'm still not completely sure. Nope, we are having none of that. Hopefully we don't have to do the same thing to the other side. I built this side of the dock and that side of the dock at roughly the same time, or pretty much exactly the same time in the same episode. So I'm hoping we don't have to get rid of that part of the dock as well, because that actually has some lore involved into it. Actually, no, we need to extend the land over there to actually kind of come closer to the dock, so we're good on that side. Oh, offerings for me? Thank you so much. Look at these guys. They're just trying to give me something. They're not even attacking. Okay, now he's attacking. That was nice of them. Well, at least the first two. I think at this point I have kind of made a decision regarding the dock. I think this section of dock is just going to have to go because it is feeling a little crowded on this side, especially with regard to the flying wolf man. I think if we gave the ship even less room, it's not even going to look like it could make it out to sea, right? So this section of dock, we're gonna say bye-bye to it. Oh, no, you don't. Just because I said I'm not gonna use that anymore doesn't mean you can have it. That is still mine. All right, so now that we've got all that sorted out, now that we've made our decision regarding the dock, we can get back to what we were doing, which is planning out our walls. Oh, sweet spin. I like your moves. You still gotta go, though. I think today we're just going to build out to the corners right here, and we're going to save the inside of these parts for after we kind of deflattenize this thing, kind of deepen it to the level of the actual waters here, because it just doesn't make sense to me to do, half the wall today and then half the wall some other time. We'll just wait until this whole inside section is ready to go before we actually tackle it. And, I mean, why do today what you can put off till tomorrow, right? Man, future Lobo is going to hate me, isn't he? And I'm not building these pillars all the way up to the top. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out where they're going to be. That way we can kind of plan around them, and we'll do like the walls as a hi. Yeah, that was a surprise. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? There's another one. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. You're spawning on my makeshift staircase, huh? This thing isn't going to be here for much longer, so enjoy it while you can. All right. Oh, that was a miss. Yeah. Okay. Now we're ready to go. You know, puppy, I'd appreciate some warning from time to time, and you can't actually be here. You need to come over here with your friends. But yeah, I'd appreciate some warning when I'm about to be, bitten by a zombie. It's always a good thing to let somebody know if that's about to happen. But you're still a good boy. Yes, you are. So we got the dock figured out so we could figure this out. Now that we got this figured out, we can get back to what we were trying to figure out before all this, which was our stairs. And as far as figuring out how our stairs are going to go, I think I'm going to go ahead and just draw these out with slime blocks to start off with. That way we can easily edit as we need to. We just punch them out if we need to shrink it down and whatnot. And this should make it easier to kind of put the shape of these together, because obviously these stairs don't go straight up. They're going to be kind of hugging the contours of this build. And something like this should work, I think. So we can go ahead and ascend, just see how it feels. It feels very bouncy, very springy. I like it. But this isn't going to be slime blocks, obviously, even though I want to keep the slime blocks because this is a much more fun way to travel. We're going to save some room for some spruce slabs and stairs. That's what we're actually going to build this out of, even though the slime blocks are obviously my preference. Now, these stairs on the other platform aren't going to be like a mirror image of the ones we did over there, because the platforms themselves are different. They're a different size. They're offset differently. So these stairs are going to be a little bit different as well. These ones are going to kind of hug the wall a little bit more. But that's not a bad thing, because, the reason why we built the platforms this way in the first place was to get a little bit of asymmetry, right? Because asymmetry is more fun. I leave for 2 seconds. Ow! That was two excellent shots on a moving target. You, not so much. You just shot me in the butt, and I don't appreciate that at all. But I do think that I have the shape of my stairs in now the way I want them to be, or as good as I'm going to be able to get them with slime blocks. Obviously, things will change up once we add our slabs and stairs in there a little bit. But at this point, I think we're not only ready to build these stairs up, but also our walls. So let's go ahead and call Dee Dee back on over here one more time. We'll put on a little bit of music, and we'll try to get today's project finished up.
Next level. Next level.
Welcome back, everybody. So I think that we have made a pretty significant improvement in the Waterside District in this episode. Man, the difference one episode can make in a place, huh? I mean, this was looking terrible when we first started, but now it looks ready to be built upon. Parts of it actually look completed. Parts of it actually are completed. You know, the walls are pretty much going to be the walls and stuff like that. But man, this is going to offer so much more convenience instead of bouncing up slime blocks like an ascend stairs like a normal human being, which is obviously going to be great. But I mean, the walls were just the first step, you know? The walls were just the first step. There's still a lot more work that's going to need to be done here. That's a crafting table. Hello. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. The interiors will all need to be done. There's plenty of builds that are going to be populating the Waterside District. But unfortunately, there was a hefty price we paid for what we did today. One of my shulker boxes, unfortunately, got exploded during that time lapse. But I mean, it could have been worse. You know, it was my white shulker box, which basically I just used as my light source box. I had a bunch of torches in there. Bunch of sea lanterns, but those are both very replenishable, so I mean, no big loss. We'll get that replaced next episode, before the next episode, hopefully. But with the subtraction of our dock here, the Flying Wolfman now has so much more room to make it out to the ocean. And I think this works a little bit better anyway, because it kind of cleans the area up a little bit. At least on this one side. And I think that's good, because we don't need to have both sides cleaned up, because if we just have that one side cleaned up and you can actually see how the walls go down into the ocean, then you can kind of imagine like how it looks on the other side, right? So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Oh, and something I forgot to mention, the borders of our land here, I kind of just dressed these up to look like they are part of the wall and they actually meet with the wall and blend into it, just to offer a little bit of cohesion, which I think could work to the Waterside District's benefit. Just something to note, you know? Just something to note. And we will be hitting the Waterside District harder in the coming episodes, but that's going to do it for us today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.